Hello, fellow Bassages and Fargan Iceholes. My name is Alex Tyler. Welcome back to Ace Combat, and today I'll be reviewing the CFA-44. But at the same time, I'm actually kind of reviewing an entire weapon system instead of the plane. Yes, the plane is highly maneuverable, and it's definitely a step above the XO2. You're going to hear me rant about the XO2 a lot in this review, mainly because the XO2 is one of the best maneuverable planes in the game, but has the worst dog shit weapons. Because of that, you have to treat this plane, the CFA, as a multi-role plane, but at the same time, think about dogfighting whenever someone gets on your tail and says, okay, I have to use this weapon to kill it. By that, I mean the ADMM. The ADMM is one of the best weapon systems in the entire game for ground control. This thing is meant to destroy enemies quickly, but also have a 360 degrees lock on. But no, not lock on, but have a variable of being, okay, I am safe in my little bubble, and nothing can hurt me while I have this ammo in this weapon. The reload on it is kind of long, but it makes sense for what the weapon does. They are top-firing vertical launch missiles that come out of your plane and then lock on to anything and everything you see in your screen angle. You can kill up to 10 targets with it, or lock on to a very hard maneuvering plane, like a Ace or something like that, launch 10 missiles at different times or angles, and just destroy the thing. The best way to describe them is, I would say, a 6 AAM combined with a QAAM. They are very hard to get away from missiles. At the same time, they can lock onto ground targets. This thing is meant to destroy stuff. That's the simple and the best way to put it. When you look at this vehicle, you think to yourself, why would I use this over other planes? Why would I use this over the flanker? Why would I use this over an F-22? Why would I use this over the XO2? Because of the weapon system. Now, the XO2, I look at that plane, I say, you have to use it. You can't just play with it. You can't just go into a match or go into a game story and say, I'm going to go kill stuff now. No, you have to practice with it. And like here in this scene, I launch a bunch of missiles, and they all do great. They all miss a little bit, but at the same time, you saw the potential of that there. I could lock on to all the targets, fire, I think about 2 missiles each at the target, and it would destroy it easy. Now, the ADMM is an amazing weapon system for one reason and one reason only. It is meant to be any direction kill system. By that I mean things below you, just fire a missile, it'll lock on the best way it can, but to do that you have to have the certain parts on the weapon, of course, too. You need to have advanced homing, you have a better lock-on speed, you need to have better speed on the missiles, too. And because of this, you need to be able to also angle the plane to get to that point, too. I wish the ADMM worked how it would work in other games. If I remember correctly, you could just look behind you and still fire it. But that would be overpowered in this game because that would just, everyone would scream cheating and everyone would use this plane because of the weapon. I look at this, and a good example of coming up here is, look at all those ground targets I'm about to shoot down. Look at all those deaths. Look at all that. I'm going to be able to kill all of that except for one, of course, because of buildings. And that is the weakness of the weapon, too. It is great for weapon. It is great for air. It is great for ground targets. But at the same time, it is meant to be a line of sight weapon, even though it acts like it shouldn't. It should be a very good weapon to use. And it is. Don't get me wrong. It has to be this kind of fire and forget missile that has a skill bar up front of it. The best way to put it that way is, think of it like this. I think of this weapon as in a way of looking at something and hoping it dies, not that I know it's going to die. It's not a bomb, it's not a laser cannon, it's not a railgun that I can just point and click and it dies. This is, I hope it locks on, I hope it hits the target, but you have to spam it too if you're fighting one-on-one, which is kind of iffy because the long reload on the weapon is pretty crappy too, but that can be fixed with parts. Um, anyway, when I think about this weapon system and the plane itself, it's maneuverable enough to get on target. It's fast enough to be able to go around and hit stuff. It has really good survivability. You can just get hit about 5 to 6 times if you're lucky for the 6 and just destroy stuff easily. This thing is meant to be, you go into a large group of enemies and clear the space. But at the same time, I look at this weapon and I think, why would I use this over something else? Why would I use this over something of the other planes? Like a good example of that is the drone fighters, that you can launch drones and just kind of let them do their own thing. Or a QAM missile, which is meant to track down enemies and kill it. It is not a fire forget missile, but at the same time, look at all this. Look at all that. I'm able to look at all these enemies and kill them. Mainly because I have a good arc, a good distance from them, and I'm able to wipe out a good number of them too. Yet at the same time, I feel like it's not doing its work enough. ADMM is an amazing weapon system on the wrong type of plane. I say this mainly because the CFA is an amazing weapon, and it also has a rail gun, it also has some other stuff, but I look at this plane and I think bomber. I look at this plane and I think ground control. I think of this plane and I think very, very good dogfighting capability. But at the same time, I feel like I'm not playing with a top tier weapon. I feel like I'm playing with a class A weapon. Class A plane. I feel like this is up there with the F-22, not the XO-2, not the Falcon or anything like that. Like the higher end planes that were released with the DLC. And this is a DLC plane. What carries this into top tier is only the weapon system. If the ADMM was not on this plane, it would not be used that much. I promise you that much. If this thing was, yeah, sure, there's going to be people who have favorites of this plane that are going to look at this thing and say, oh, I love the CFA because of it. Because I have good memories of it. And I get it. The SU-47 is my baby, and I will always love it no matter what. But I'm also critical of it too. It is a workhorse. It is meant to do multiple things at once, and because of it, it's able to hold its own in much harder combats. And when I look at this plane, I think to myself, it is meant to keep its little distance, do its best, and stay away from stuff and just kill things. Now, I'm going to show you against Mr. X later in the video, but mainly because of that, I'm going to show you it is great for locking onto one single target and just spamming stuff and know it will die. It is meant to stay behind something also too and be with it. The plane in that aspect is great, and that's why it has a railgun on it. Because of that, you're able to launch stuff and have a good little sniping thing, but also, when I think of this plane, I think of close quarters more than anything else. You do not want to be far away with this plane, but the weapon systems on it make you be longer range. It makes you have this feeling of, I have to be longer ranges with this. I have to keep my little distance so I can have all these lock-on targets and have the time to lock on to all the targets too, and then release. But between that time, between those precious little seconds, you either have to steer away from enemies. Like here's a good example. I want to kill the enemies in front of me. I want to kill everything that needs to get dead. But the reload on the weapon, the time to lock on to the targets I want to have, not the auto-picked targets that I want to have, and switching between regular missiles and the weapon system is really good. But at the same time, I have I'm hoping that the reload is done. I'm hoping that I can use my regular missiles, my ADMM again. I'm hoping that it's ready. I only have four of them left, and that's fine. And you can see that I'm trying my best. I'm doing the best I can just to get out of here. And because of that, I look at this weapon system and I say, okay, what do I need to do next with this? How do I need to keep going forward? And the best way I can see is this weapon system is made and carries this plane. By that, I mean this. You need to be careful when you use it. You cannot look at it and say death. You have to say, okay, turn, angle, then death. Yes, people who use a railgun will understand that in the thing. You have to aim it, you have to shoot it, and I hate railguns. I hate laser weapons, except for the machine gun, the pulse lasers. Those things are awesome, and that's great on the Su-57, which is a brawler in its truest sense. If this had the pulse laser, I would use it in a heartbeat over the ADMM. Mainly because it is close quarters, it is meant to stay behind the enemy and just destroy stuff. This here, the ADMM, is a great weapon system, and if this was on the XO2, it would be so much better. Mainly because the XO2 has horrible weapons, and I look at that plane and I say, my god, why would I choose the XO2 in a multiplayer match above this? Because the XO2 has one of the best maneuverability besides other stuff that are in the game that are just recently added. I can't think of the names right now because I'm focusing on this. But when you think about the XO2 versus all the other DLC planes, like the CFA, why do I choose this over the XO2? Because of the maneuverability and the ability just to destroy stuff in a giant line in a cone of damage that I know are going to get dead. I know that if I launch my missiles at, like here, good example here. I'm going to launch a bunch of stuff, and some are destroyed easily. You see that? Just instantly dead. Already, I killed somebody, one of the special planes. And because of this, I know that the ADMM is going to carry me through these fights. I'm going to destroy half of the escorts instantly, and just leave Mr. X to myself. Look at that. Look at that. Just already dead. Already dead. Look at that. That is amazing for how good this weapon is. And just surrounding yourself by enemies, fire and forget at the same time, situational. You have to be in the right place at the right time to use this weapon. I think that's a good thing and also a bad thing.
Chocolate? Did you say?
You want to be able just to use this weapon correctly, and from here on out, I'm going to let the video play out and just enjoy the video. So I hope you see what I'm talking about. Anyway, my name is Alex Tyler Gaming. Enjoy the video. Bye.
What? Bandit fired missile. All right, he grabbed the bait. Time to take him for a ride. Target is hit. Nice flying. Give him one more. Watch it. Enemy has a lock on you. How did that miss? Taking evasive action. Target acquired.
Cyclops 2, hostile on your rear!
Fox 2. Scratch the last escort. We need to be extra careful if we want to split up the 2 leaders. Eject while you can still talk. You're quite the entertainer, but the show's over with this next shot. He wasn't a bad pilot. Wiseman! Missile closing! I'll keep him on me. Just a bit longer. Shit. Cyclops 1 is down. Cyclops 1 is down. Eject already, Wiseman!
I'm sorry, Count. This plane exploded.
Wiseman! Stay strong. We're not done here.
Cyclops 2, you've got the lead.
Wiseman! Shit!
Negative, Cyclops 2. You're the lead.
I can't do it. Trigger should take command.
The duty is yours.
That's impossible.
Do it.
Damn it. Cyclops 4, form an element. We need our top gun if we're gonna take out that bastard.
Wilco count. These guys are way out of my league. I can't even get in close to them.
Missile hit.
Good job. All right.
Damn.
Now go finish the job.
Get Mr. X, Trigger.
Shoot it down, Trigger. You can do it. In fact, you're the only one who can.
My radar suddenly turned off.
What is it? Respond.
My data won't update.
My HUD is
Damn it.
crashing out.
What was that?
I've lost radar contact. What the?
Look at the sky. Towards the sun.
What is that?
A star? No. Maybe an explosion?